Hello, everyone. This is our regular discussion of Boring Enterprise Nerdletter with myself, Jelena, and my partner in crime, Paul Moderman. All right.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. I will show my ideas for the upcoming issue of our Nerdletter first, and let's just have a discussion and let's see what we're going to write in the next issue. And some of you might get an early preview because we share these videos on Tuesday late at night. So if you're interested in getting early access preview of our subjects for the next
But
topic,
only
yeah,
but only if you're on the Platinum Plus
yes,
subscriber plan.
only platinum subscribers.
And today it's for the low price of the same as every other plan, which is free.
Yeah.
So get it while it's hot.
Yep. Yep. All right. So let's dig in. I'm just gonna share my screen here. All right. And let me start with my first subject. So the kind of trigger for this was this very nice video, but by Fireship, which is my favorite YouTube channel these days. Really nice, short and concise videos which have tons of different information. And this video is titled "Got Your Developer Roadmap." It's talking about what he calls the programming iceberg. It's kind of a I don't know, sort of hierarchy of programming languages from the, he takes it, there are different icebergs, but he takes it in a way that goes from the beginner, from newbie to like very, very deep levels, like to the levels of C or languages in which actual like operating systems are written. So I think it's a
Mm,
very, very interesting idea to discuss this, especially with beginners and newcomers into development. And I thought to do something similar but for SAP world. Obviously,
mm.
I'm not going to cover maybe the whole depth of, and in SAP, it's not just iceberg, it's, I don't know, the whole glacier with icebergs and everything in between, the whole frozen hellscape, I would say probably. But I
Yeah,
will just try to,
what level of Dante's Inferno was the cold one? Whatever
yeah,
that one is. Yeah.
yeah, that's SAP development.
Yeah.
So I will just kind of try to follow his approach in in covering different languages, or rather in SAP it's ABAP
Interesting.
mostly rules the world, but
Interesting.
yeah, I will do this kind of small exploration. What if this video was for SAP world? So that's my first subject.
Interesting.
Any
I'll be
any
curious to
other
see I'll be curious to see what turns out to be the stuff you can see above the water
Mhm.
and what is the stuff that's under the water, right? In the Jelena formulation of that
Yeah, which in
SAP
SAP can be
slice of
the same
iceberg.
stuff basically sometimes, which is weird. All right, and my second subject, it's very vague one right now. So a couple of days ago, I was having a really bad day at work with the CDSU development. And what we typically try to do, as any sane person would, obviously, we try to take advantage of standard CDS views that SAP
Mhm.
provides. Duh. Otherwise, why would they be there? But unfortunately, when we do that, I more frequently now than before finding some gaps in those CDS views where really I feel like SAP kind of drops the ball on providing really proper data modeling there. Because, for example, if there is, let's say, some code involved in your data model, in this case, it's a language. So there is a, if anyone familiar with SAP customer master data, there is a field called communication language. Obviously, it's stored as a code, which would be like EN or E for English, ES for Spanish, etc. But obviously, to present this information to anyone, you would need actual description. So you're not going to show people like EN for English, and then you
Right.
need to figure out what this is. You need to actually show the word English. But SAP just, they had it at some point, and they just commented out this association in the CDS view. I
Mm.
know, for some viewers that might be going a little bit too deep into the weeds of CDSU development, but that shouldn't be commented out, in my opinion. That should have been provided. I have no idea why they did that. They obviously had it there. And to add insult to injury, when I tried to do that, okay, SAP did not provide this information, so let me try to supplement it. Then I'm running into all kinds of very strange issues when I'm doing that. So that's just very frustrating. And it's funny that one of my followers replied, and he said that he actually received a suggestion to create like Z view for this basic like address data model, because CDS views are like templates and customers can easily change them and expand them as required. So this is where I really want to explore, and I really like his picture here with ZSAP. I think that we make fun of ZSAP frequently, and ZSAP, it's like SAP customized up to eyeballs, basically. It's
Yeah.
where there is just so many enhancements and customizations
Yeah.
that it's barely anything left from SAP. And in general, ZSAP is referred to in either just jokingly or in negative kind of a connotation. So I think that doing this is really not great idea, even
Mhm.
though I appreciate SAP sentiment that CDS views are like templates, but even template need to have basic stuff. And to me, if you have a code there, you need to have text for the code. It's, to me, it
Mhm.
belongs to the template. It's not something that customers would need to enhance. So it now, to me, looks like basically SAP is just complicit and customers going and creating ZSAP. If they do not provide features that I bet any customer would need, because I just honestly, I'm just having trouble understanding who would want to have a code in this data model without having actual text. I mean, what's the point? In which scenario this would be needed? So yeah, I just kind of want to maybe explore this subject and provide some
Right.
commentary on how I feel that SAP really needs to do better job in providing things that very many customers need. I think this sentiment is nice, but you need to understand what should be template and what really should belong to the customer, kind of enhancement sphere, if you will. So that's kind of
Mhm.
a slightly nebulous subject right now, maybe, but yeah, but kind of ZSAP, that's kind of my, and how SAP kind of contributes to the issue of ZSAP, and obviously continues doing that. We've known this been an issue a long time ago, before CDS views, way before that, when we had no function modules, no APIs, no classes, and
Yeah.
now it just saga continues, basically the same old issues just creeping into CDS view world. So that's my second one.
I like that. And I mean, it's good. It's good in a couple levels. One is that like, yeah, if you're doing SAP development stuff like these days, you better get your head up the CDS road because
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to understand it soon. And also, it's got this flavor of, like you said, like what should come with the, like, what accessories should come with the base model of
Mm-hmm.
the car you bought,
Yeah.
and what things should be in the platinum package or whatever, right? And I
Yeah.
feel like getting English along with EN, that's like the base option. Like that should come with
Yeah.
that's like that's like Power Windows these days. It should just come with it.
Yeah. Yeah, really. It's funny you mentioned the analogy with the cars, because at least I don't know if it's urban legend of it, or if it's a fact, but I've heard that in some models, for example, I think Dodge was guilty of one of those, where they would put like basically the same engine on less expensive and more expensive car, but they actually kind of I don't know, downgraded for the less expensive car. So it's technically it could do the same thing, but they just made an effort to make it
They just
worse for cheaper car. So it's not like they upgraded, more expensive car. It's they're just downgrading cheaper ones. So I'm kind of feel that we're almost moving into that territory by now. So
I mean, I
yeah.
mean, did you see that story about the BMW where you can, like, the heated seats
Mm.
are like
Yeah,
SaaS now,
subscription
basically?
based. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So there would be like proper CDS used by, yeah, as a subscription,
Yeah. Pay
microtransaction. What
Swipe your
want your text added as an association to
yeah,
your
swipe
pay
your
pay
credit
up?
card
Yeah,
and yeah.
subscribe. Yeah, it's a dangerous territory, really. All right, so my third one, that's a very big topic. It is gonna be data mesh. I have been sitting on the subject for quite some time because I've been kind of casually gathering intelligence there, and I think I have enough right now to write up something on this subject. And
Bust it wide open.
yeah, yeah. So there are lots of articles on it, and every article on it, it's like 30 minutes of reading. So I don't know yet how I can condense this into very, very short newsletter story, but I will do my best. So I found this was the first piece I think that started my kind of process, like what the heck is this? Because I've never even heard of data mesh before. It's kind of newish concept, maybe few years. That's the earliest mention I could find. So this piece was in SiliconANGLE. This specific one, obviously, fluff piece for a couple of companies that are mentioned just a few paragraphs later. But I dug up a few more articles, and they are all kind of just equally fuzzy because notice how this one starts like data mesh is one of the hottest topics in the data industry because it seeks blah blah blah, and they lost me like completely mid-sentence here. I just
Yeah,
my marketing radar kicks in and I'm like whoosh, okay, I'm gone. I'm not
I
even
just saw
reading further.
static in my head. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, there is that
Ugh.
episode of Black Mirror when when the parent kind of blocks for their child like scenes of like violence, like
Oh yeah.
they like enhance their eyes, or that's like me with this type of content. It's like that's it, like nothing, like
Oh,
pixelated.
uh, along those lines, random topic. Well, not random, but connected. I have a little bookmark. I'll share it with you.
Mm.
The little tool is called bullshit.js. And basically what it does is if you click the little bookmark,
Mm-hmm.
it will take the page that you're on
Mm-hmm.
and it will seek out all the buzzwords
Mm-hmm.
and just replace the buzzwords with the word bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So the sentence would be like, bullshit is it's one of the hottest topics in the data bullshit because it seeks to bullshit and bullshit through a self-serve bullshit. And so some websites are just entirely covered, right, in like
Yeah,
blanked out text that just says
yeah,
that, and others are never.
awesome.
Anyway, sorry.
All
I'll
right.
share that with you.
Yeah, so this is, there is not much really meat on the bones, if even if any bones really here. But I was just
Right.
curious, like what the heck is data mesh? This gives you
Mm,
zero understanding of what data mesh is, other than it's one of the hottest topics apparently. I mean, generated by SiliconANGLE newsletter,
mm.
most likely. But what's funny, I mean, Oracle, this is Oracle's page. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, OCI, no idea. I guess Oracle's cloud platform or
There's
whatever. Oracle's
enterprise
BTP. Uh,
enterprise
and
data fabric.
what is this, their new logo or something? It's bizarre.
Oracles? Oh, I don't
Yeah. It's Oracle.com. All right, that doesn't matter. Do what you want, Oracle.
know.
But I mean, Oracle seems like an authority in database world, at least
Yeah.
so far. And their article on data mesh starts with the same thing: a hot topic in enterprise. So, like, you got to be kidding me. So, what is it? Like, someone please tell me what the heck is this data mesh, other than hot topic in enterprise software. So this one says like data mesh is a new approach to thinking about data. Like, okay, but as a technologist, I still don't get at all like what this is. This article slightly kind of less bullshitty, more technical, but still, I would say goes way too many words. Not really getting to
Yeah,
the point. So at this
man.
point, I'm like, is this just super complicated, or is this really just all of it is just complete bullshit? And then here comes SAP blog, which is it's posted in Business Trends, which is immediately kind of, it's a place where marketing fluff pieces go in SAP
Yeah.
community. So that's kind of already dropped the credibility a little bit, but it seems to have like very good comments. So I honestly try to read this blog, but then again, it says more than just a hype. And this is saying data mesh is a new approach to increase agility. And again, this is where I'm spacing out. Like,
Oh, I
okay,
hate those
increase
sentences.
agility.
I oh
What does it
God.
mean even? And then, okay, so this again calls it kind of new way of thinking or something. And it's a very long post. Yeah, super very many words, but at least it has more, I think, clear.
Is it is this a practical joke on somebody like
I
did somebody
no,
go, let's invent a thing that's not a thing and see
wait
how
for it.
long we can go? Yeah.
So then finally, so after all of this, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm like ready to write this off as just complete like blockchain
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
sorts. But then much more creditable source is martinfowler.com. And this is where I think
Mhm.
stuff starts to make much more sense. Because yeah, this is a great article and it's very long one. I did a quick scan of it. I'm gonna read it in more depth because I think that's really what what everyone I think interested in this should read versus all those other articles that are about hottest topic in
Yes.
whatever. And written by a woman in IT, we need more and more of those to explain stuff. So this is finally really good architectural piece. So it finally talks about this data mesh as about architecture. And it's again, it's super long, very, detailed and with much more interesting diagrams article. So I think it covers it much better. And it talks about the general principles of data mesh, which other articles kind of also mention, but in a much more fuzzy, much more salesy way. I think this one finally kind of speaks to me maybe better as a kind of IT person to IT person versus someone just generating word count.
Yeah.
We'll try to squeeze this really big, huge, like overarching topic into a small article for readers. All right, so that's all for me. And over to you, Paul.
That sounds like a revolutionary concept in
This will be
hybrid data
like
pipeline
mind-blowing hottest.
value
We're gonna
creation. Yeah.
stoke the flame of hottest topic because it disappeared from June, till August. Need to keep
Okay,
the
here is what I'm thinking about. So you remember last time I did the Odoo, the open source ERP?
mm-hmm.
I found another open source ERP.
Ooh, nice.
And so I kind of wanted to take a look at it. And there is definitely like there's a little bit more of a modern techie feel to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I am curious to see where this tool lands versus that other tool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but very interesting to see how it positions itself in the
Mm,
world of these things, right? You can see that it's kind of it sees itself on the same chart as Business One, right?
mm,
And Dynamics 365 and like there's like it's comparing itself to like certain parts of the marketplace here in the
mm,
traditional not open source world, right?
mm-hmm.
So very curious to see how this turns out. But again, it has a little bit of a more modern flavor to what it's saying here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to explore more and write about it. And it's got like TED Talky looking videos and stuff like that too. So we'll see what's going on with that. But I like the idea because I like sort of challenging myself to think a little bit beyond like my SAP box kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a good chance to look at that stuff. But speaking of my SAP box, I shared this with you in Slack the
Mm-hmm.
other day. You remember
Mm-hmm.
the Hacker News?
Yeah.
So in the last few days or maybe a week or so, there was a piece in Hacker News and it links to a story and I didn't even read the story. I think I've seen this story before. The
Mm-hmm.
interesting place for me is the comment section of this. because it's right now it's got 686 comments on Hacker News, and most stories don't get that many comments. I've seen some
Mm-hmm.
that get bigger, but that's a lot. That's a decent number of comments for a Hacker News story. Um, and it's got this very interesting mix of like SAP haters, SAP defenders, like mixing and matching. And in this case, there are a lot more haters than there are defenders.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of interesting points made by a lot of the commenters here. So my thought here is like I want to pluck out a few things. One thing is some places where the haters are probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Some places where the haters are not right, at least from my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And then roughly the same thing for the lovers, right? Some places where the lovers may not be right,
Mm-hmm.
and some places where the SAP lovers are like, yeah, they've got it right, that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely um, anybody who happens to both read Hacker News and our newsletter or watch our videos, be on the lookout for something about this where, I may even link to your comment if you happen to read that kind of stuff. But it's man, it's like Yelena, there is some hate here.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're
I mean,
they're drinking the
yeah, I
haterade.
haven't read like 600 comments here, but I've read a few of them.
Yeah.
And I opened the article. I don't think article really has anything to do with these comments, but
No.
it's a trend these days. People basically see the title headline and that's it, and they start to
And they
comment
just go off.
on the
Yeah.
subject, yeah, without
Yeah.
really reading what it's about, which is I think fine in this case. But considering I guess typical like maybe kind of demographic on this type of website, I don't really expect a lot of SAP love here because
No,
I
not at
think
all.
and that's what I've seen like in real life and on many other like sites on Reddit or any other places, even SAP community itself. People just come in with their and there are definitely people who have great the whole lot of experience and in development and in enterprise, and I think they have much better comments there. But there are also lots of comments. Typically, someone who honestly has just no clue how big enterprises work. And they
Yeah.
just come in with this idea like, why can't you just like take like SAP and rewrite it in like JavaScript or something like complete nonsense like that? Like it's
You're
I
welcome to
don't even
try.
know what to
Yeah.
what to say to those people, and they're like, oh, why is like well SAP GUI sucks, and that's why SAP sucks, and that's
Any
so that
like any hater, any hater who is like, man, I could do that in a weekend. Like,
yeah,
do it.
yeah, do
Get
it,
get
yeah, do yeah,
freaking rich if you can
yeah,
do that.
yeah,
Do you understand how rich you would be if you
yeah,
could re-implement SAP not in SAP?
yeah,
You would be so rich. You'd be so rich. But also I doubt you can do it. So
yeah,
secretly I doubt you can do it. Um but anyway, so I'll pluck out some haters and some lovers from here and throw them in a story and comment on that stuff.
awesome.
The last thing I wanted to look at is, because probably every other newsletter or more, I drop something in there about AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing a lot of thinking and like playing around with either GPT-3, which is the
Mm-hmm.
word producing AI,
Mm-hmm.
or DALL-E or Stable Diffusion, which are the image producing
Mm-hmm.
AIs. This one borrows some of that same uh, uh, core technology, but applies it to something a little bit different. And what it does is, and this piece only has like little video demos, but
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that they're going to come up with more, which to me says they plucked the best things and made videos, right? But still, what it does is they point that same technology at websites and web tools,
Mm-hmm.
and then give you the ability to just type a command in a little window,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bot will do that thing on the website. In other words, you can say, find me a house in Houston that works for a family of four. My budget is $600,000. And it will go to redfin.com and
Mm-hmm.
do the search and enter the parameters and find you a thing and say, hey, what about this one? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to tell it this is the website or what. And again, I don't know all the details here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's applying that same sort of generic generative capability
Mm-hmm.
to something other than just pure words or pure images. It's
Mm-hmm.
like doing activities and behaviors based on what it's discovered about actions on the web and the web itself, right?
Mm.
So
It's
there's another
like,
one here where it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, add a new lead to Salesforce, and you just give it the name, and it knows where to go click and stuff and to put it in to add that new lead to your stuff, right? So again, it's not it like the interface for the end user
Mm-hmm.
looks kind of the same as like chatbots, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is a programmer didn't have to go create a bot that does that thing.
Yeah, I was just
They
gonna
just got a
say,
model
yeah,
that's trained
yeah, like
on
AI.
umpteen bajillion things.
Yeah.
And if it can, it can. And if it can't, it'll try something similar and probably die, right? So, or do something like really crazy. But the point is, like, the point here is not that this is, oh, this is the end, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the beginning of this capability, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if you can go just sniff out the web and just like hoover up a bunch of data and then turn that into a little command accepting tool that
Mm-hmm.
says, I'm just looking for raspberries and I want them delivered to my house.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to know, oh, I need to go to the grocery store thing,
Mm-hmm.
click the box and do whatever. If I can just say that into a little obelisk on my hand,
Mm-hmm.
like that's that's a level up of the game, right? That's a
Mm-hmm.
level up of what can you do with everything in the world, right? It's early days for it. This one I think is like a spreadsheet where the person says make a profit column and then make a profit margin column, right? And but then not it doesn't just make a column named that stuff. It makes a column called profit, and then based on the other things on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
writes the calculation for
Mm-hmm.
what does the profit look like, right? And then do some filtering and blah, blah, and just like you can just imagine like being in Star Trek and just
Mm-hmm.
talking to the screen and it's just doing whatever you tell it to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. This one goes through Craigslist and it like finds a refrigerator for somebody, you know. This
Mm-hmm.
one goes to Wikipedia and learns about stuff and like there's just like it the point is not so much that a voice or text thing is revolutionary as an interface. The revolution is in how the capabilities for that thing are built. Because right
Mm-hmm.
now they're built by hand,
Mm-hmm.
one at a time for everything that's going on. This is, if it's on the web, I can probably learn how to do it for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's cool, and I want to write about that and what that maybe what that means for the future. You know, a long time from now, or maybe closer than we think. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
'cause, I mean, I work in app development, and some of that work is being eaten by low code, and some of that work is not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is maybe the same thing on the other side, right? Maybe some of the work I do won't have to be done if this thing works out really well, right? Not that I won't have a job. I'm sure I'll have a job, but I'm 100% sure I'll have a job. But some of the things I do will look different in the future. You know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where I have that interest in these tools.
Yeah, it's
Anyway, that's my third thing.
kind of almost mini RPA or something because
Yeah.
I mean it's not going to be like RPA killer definitely because kind of reusability and repeated element of it that's still going to be there, but it's definitely I mean I'm just looking at it I can find like million of uses for it for myself and
Yeah.
as a sidebar, it just tells you how much storage capabilities still suck on many websites.
Yeah.
If you need to unleash
Yeah.
this type of functionality on something that really should be very easy to achieve, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, really some websites are just mind-boggling, honestly. It's storage is the only thing that they do basically, but still make it so difficult for no reason. All right, awesome. All right, so cool. Yeah, yeah, I'm
There it
really
is.
excited to yeah, maybe I should try it myself. All right, adapt. It's very looks like very neat tool. All right, cool. All right, so
Cool.
that's all, folks. These are all these are going to be our 6 stories in the upcoming issue of Boring Enterprise Nerdletter. Make sure to subscribe so that you get them on Wednesdays every 2 weeks, or for early preview, watch these videos on Tuesday night. All right, Take care. Bye.
Bye.